Okay, so I had a poll in my Discord because I wanted to do a video on where every mythic is roughly ranking on usability, how useful they are. So I had a poll in my Discord. I asked everyone in the Discord to vote on where they think this character should be from a scale of A being the highest tier to poop being the lowest tier, and then obviously we'll go over it. We'll go through. We'll say whether I agree with it, whether I don't, any changes, and why I'll change it. But this will be purely off community feedback, aka my Discord. If you want to participate in future videos, I do ask for community feedback quite often. So if you want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description. And just once again, I will be going over whether I think they deserve that spot, whether they don't, and the reasons for it. So without any further ado, let's go on with the video. Okay, so Thomas Richards, I think he's right where he deserves to be. I don't think I do think he's shit, but when future characters do come out with MAME and whatnot, I do think his usability will go up. But at the moment, his base weapon is shit. You know, he's very slow to get going with his MAME. So I do think he does belong in the shit tier. You know, nothing else to say. But Gregory, I will have to heavily disagree on. Now you will see in the picture here, I actually put him in C tier, and the reason I put him in C tier is purely on that specialist skill, Indomitable. If you hit him with Splash, he gains defense. If you hit him with Rampage, he gains defense. And obviously, you're not going to be able to one-shot him normally. If he's well modded, you're not going to be able to one-shot him, meaning his defense is just going to keep going up every single turn. And because he's a yellow, he can hold a fast healing weapon, meaning he's going to constantly be topped up. So I do think if you mod him extremely well, he can really stall out a team. That being said, he also has a mythic ability where when he's fallen, he does give minus 15 AP to everyone on the enemy team, which can stop pretty much everyone else from rushing. So that is a really, really good mythic ability. So I do think Gregory is heavily underrated, and I do not believe he does belong in the shit tier. I believe C is where he should be, but community feedback says he is in poop. Okay, D tier, beta, straight up. His only good thing about him is he's a decap. That is purely it. He does very little on rush, and yeah, his mythic abilities really isn't anything to say much about. He's got a reviving weapon with defense on it. He's an attacker. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. So D tier, I would say that's probably where he deserves to be. Now Rosita, Cutthroat. Cutthroat is very iffy. It's not great. It's not bad. But a rush is just very lackluster. It does one damage to one person and they get stunned. That's it. And the mythic abilities, not very great. So overall, yeah, very, very underwhelming. D tier is roughly where I would put her as well. Now Herschel, he's a neutralize. Neutralize is great and all, but that's it. He's a healer. To get his rush, it takes a few turns, and by then the enemy team will probably be dead. So by that logic, he deserves to be in a D tier, just because he's too slow and neutralize doesn't control them long enough. Now Harland Vitality 2 is pretty good if you leave him untouched, but the problem is he's a blue. Tyrese is readily available, and Tyrese packs a punch. He is, even if he does survive one hit, he's going to be very low, because Tyrese is just such a prominent threat at the moment. You know, he's just not going to survive. That being said, he does do some good healing. His mythic abilities are not great, but that being said, he's just not very good at the moment. So I do agree with the community feedback, and I do say he is D as well. Okay, so Bruce. Bruce is a very new tune. Not many of us have him at the moment, but I'm sure most of us will at least be able to get one copy of him. Now, with that being said, he is extremely, extremely slow. His rush isn't crazy bad. It's not crazy good. It's sort of average. His active skill is very, very slow. It's turn 3, I believe, and you know that's not great. But he does have potential. Maybe not now. Maybe a very long time in the future, but I do think he does have potential with his bleed on his active skill. No, his rush. Sorry. You know, so I do think he does have potential. Him being green as well, it does help out with strong attacks, give him the extra 10% on the team. So I do think there is potential there. And C, I could put him C because there is potential, but he's just not very good at the moment. So next, Sophia, neutralize. Here's the thing, like you could say, why is Herschel in D if Sophia is in C? Well, there's another thing going for her. So obviously Herschel is purely a defensive character, so using him on offense just doesn't really, benefit you that much. Now, Sophia is an attacking character. Well, she's technically a control because they neutralize, but she is a green yet again. So if you are running strong attacks, an extra 10% on the team. The control being the neutralize. Her mythic abilities is not horrible. They're not great. She does have a non-bound weapon, so that is great. And yeah, she is pretty widely available, so you should have a grade 5 if you went for the raiding event a while ago for those gems. So I do agree with her being in C. An offensive neutralize is not bad. Now Dexter I think is actually pretty good. On the pure basis is his mythic abilities are absolutely great. So he has two sets of mythic abilities where if you're attacking a defensive character, you get 10% attack. So two of them equaling 20% attack. And also he's a green, strong attacks. Yet again, I know I keep banging on about it, but it really does make quite a bit of a difference. Now, if he does rush and he does a lot of damage, so you get them down to like very little health, he rushes. Like he has the potential to kill two people. And with Waste Not, it's heavily underlooked. So I do think he has a lot of potential. Now, do I agree with him being in C? Yeah, no, it depends. If he's set up really well, he can do so much damage. But that being said, you really need to set her up correctly. Set him up correctly. So I do agree overall that he is probably a C tier. He's not going to be a game breaker, and you do got to invest a lot into his mythic abilities for him to really shine. But yeah. So Darius, honestly, I would probably throw him in D tier just straight up. He does taunt. He does a bit of damage. His lifesteal. It's alright. He's mainly just a defensive character. You can throw on defense just to slow people. He has no real use on attack. And his mythic abilities not great. So I would probably put him in the D. But community feedback suggests he's a C tier character. Now Dwight's actually pretty good in my opinion. Turn 1, you can get some burn going for a burn team with Abraham. So you can get a little combo going, which I think is very nice. Also his execution ability. Execution, if they're 20% or lower HP, is an insta kill, which is always great. So that's a great special skill. He does decent damage on his rush. So overall, he is pretty solid. Lots of ways to use him. Hopefully when there's more burn characters coming out, he will be more used, and you can actually get something really good going with him. So, do I think he deserves to be a C character? Yeah, at the moment. He definitely has potential to go up. He's pretty available to most people as long as you grind Survival Road. Pretty available. Elodie next. Now, I do think she has a lot of potential to be a pain in the ass, but there's obviously conditions. So, obviously, I forget the special skill name, I always do. But every time a teammate dies, she gains 25% attack and defense. So if she's the last one alive, she is going to do so much damage. It is crazy. And because she has confused on her rush, lots of different ways to use her. Now, her being red does help, believe it or not, because of that weapon we all have like 5 or 6 of. It's alert buffs. So every red teammate on the team, you get 10% defense. So if you had a full red team, she would have 50% defense. Obviously, Rampage is a big problem. But that being said, definitely a lot to play with there. Because if you do leave her for last, she's going to cause you some major problems and probably will take out a few of your teammates. So do I believe she belongs in C tier? Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, her mythic abilities are okay, but it's more of the availability. She's not widely available, so most will have her at grade 4 and some might not even have her. Gabriel, I don't really see being crazy good. Some people think he's great, but personally for me, I think he's pretty shit. I know he's got overheal, so every extra HP he can't fit into his normal life bar will go into bonus HP, which is great. But that being said, he just heals. And him being overheal doesn't really benefit much at the moment, considering, there's a lot of blues around, and he probably will be left to last. And even if he isn't left to last, I don't think it's going to be a major problem to get rid of him. So, yeah, I would honestly say he's D tier. He's just a healer. He's no threat to anyone. And he's barely well, from my experience, he barely gets to use his overheal ability, so very useless to me. So now next Magna. Now Magna could go higher, but it's her mythic abilities that really does let her down. Her mythic abilities is not great at all. Her rush, it's okay, but it's nothing special. But that being said, her leader skill is absolutely phenomenal. It's the best free to play lead in the game, so obviously many people will use her on defense. She's a red, so she can hold that alert buff to give everyone on the team 10% defense, which is nice and handy. She does have a bound weapon, which is kind of sucks, but overall, solid C tier character. If she had better mythic abilities, I would definitely throw her higher up, but it's really the mythic abilities that are letting her down. Okay, quickly go into this little section. I do agree with the placement of these. I do think they all are C tier characters. Now, Frost, his rush is shit. Don't even get me started on that. His mythic abilities, however, are really good. And aggro, if he is left untouched, he can cause a lot of problems. Mainly him just being able to soak up loads of attacks. He can hold an elusive impair weapon, which is alright. Next, Abraham, same reason for Dwight. Firestarter is great and all, but you just need more burn characters in the game to fully utilize it and for him to be really good. So yeah, I do agree with that. Plus his weapon's not very good. His his mythic abilities are pretty good as well. So C tier overall. Now, in my opinion, Jesus is just a worse version of Wayland. Wayland does more things. His active skill is focused to two people. It's not bad. He's got a good base weapon, absolute defense. So if you haven't got the armory leveled up, it's pretty good. His mythic abilities are okay. So overall, he's just an okay character. A worse version of Wayland. So C tier it is. Now Carl has got shit mythic abilities. He hasn't got a weapon, but the only thing that hard carries him to a C tier, in my opinion, is purely for that dexterity and vitality. I can't remember. It's dexterity and I don't know. It's evasion and something else. It just makes him really, really fucking tanky to take in hits. He's basically a tank, a mini tank. He doesn't do much on rush. He doesn't do much on mythic abilities, but that special skill just makes him tank for quite a bit. So that's the pure reason he's there. Now, Garrett, he's not great. He's not bad. That vitality is pretty good. His rush isn't bad, but overall, he's just not anything special. And plus, to how you got him, it was ridiculous. You had to go through 2 wheels to get the 5-star version, and that was a lot of pulls. So yeah, not that great for what he's worth. Now Dale is one of those characters. His weapon isn't great. His mythic abilities are actually pretty good, and if he does, because there is a mythic ability that makes it so if his HP goes below 85% HP, he will rush pretty much. He will gain 50% of his AP. He is manic, so that's pretty cool as well. So on the off chance he does get tapped a little bit, goes under that health, gets manic and rushes fast, he's a good C tier character. But that being said, his turn 1 active does fuck him up so much. It's disappointing. So if he has a choice between his I think it was between his rush and his active skill, I think he'll always choose his active skill first, which I think I tested it and that is true. So it's just very disappointing. He's not a bad toon, he's not a great toon, he's just very meh. He's not really going to change anyone's game. Okay, speed running through this. This is the B tier. Ivanova, solid damage, solid specialist skill, and Collateral 2. If you have her with a critical expert weapon where she 100% crits every single time, she can do some massive damage. Plus, every single mythic ability on her is fantastic. Solid character overall. She's just missing a bit more damage or a little bit of control just to take her to that next tier. Mercer, he's a rampage. No, he's a berserker. Very strange considering he's a defensive toon. But that being said, his mythic abilities increase his reflex rate, which obviously reflect when you're hitting into him, you're gonna take reflect damage. That is crazy good. Also the fact his base weapon has reflect on it as well. So if you're hitting with Sandy, which more likely you will be, Sandy can take herself out pretty easily. So with the great mythic abilities, great weapon. And all that. He's just great. The only thing that's letting him down is a Berserker. His mythic abilities does complement Berserker, but honestly, he's just not a damage dealer. He's purely a defensive toon. So if he had a defensive specialist skill, I could consider him going higher to an A tier. Now Aaron, I think he's a very tanky toon. Same again. I can't remember the specialist skill, but whenever someone dies, he gains 25% defense and attack. So every time someone else dies, it'll add on to that. So that being said, he's solid. He also does line damage on his active skill, and does healing for that. He also revives on his on his rush, so that's just great already. Um, the only thing is he just it's just not enough on his rush. It's just not enough to take him up to the next tier. But that being said, he's extremely viable, and I do think all of these characters on this list so far deserve to be a B tier. Now Rick, he's the second best attack lead in the game, behind Negan. You get extra trait damage. You can do your active skill turn one. His mythic abilities aren't fantastic, but they are good. So overall, a good a solid second choice for a leader on attack. Erica, she's in the war depot, so it does take a lot to get her, depending on where you rank in wars. But that being said, Retribution, when she does die to a rampage, Andrea, Princess, whatever it might be, she's given everyone on the team a top up of AP, which is great. Her mythic abilities isn't crazy good, but her weapon is kind of good. Stun on attack, it's alright. And plus, she's a red, she can hold an alert buffs weapon, give the extra 10% defense, which is pretty good. So, I'd say solid B for both of those. Now, Yumiko with Confounding. Confounding is actually pretty fucking nice. Nothing to really knock on it. She also has mythic abilities where resistances are 20% lower, which is great. So if you got a really high confused resist, she can knock it down by 20%, so it's more likely to hit. Pretty good. Her mythic abilities are pretty good as well. She can heal when she does a crit. Obviously, resistances are lowered. So yeah, it's kind of good. She has a good active skill as well. Her rush is pretty solid, but she doesn't do crazy amount on her rush to the point where she could go to the next tier. I'd say she's a solid B. Alice, 20% weapon, pretty good. If you mod that out defensively, she can really, really tank a hit. Her rush, not bad. She revives someone and cleans some penalties. He does have an attack lead, which is very weird. 25% attack, and you get bonus healing as well. So that's alright. I think that'll be a bit better in the future when infection's a bit more prominent. And her mythic abilities does let her down quite a bit. So I could say she is a B or a C. It's very hit and miss for me. Now Shiva, I do think she deserves to be in a C tier. She's barely in a B tier, but like I said with Dwight and Abraham, there just isn't enough bleed characters to make it that viable at the moment. And that's purely the reason I would drop her down to a C tier. There's just not enough support for her at the moment. Her rush is solid. Most of her mythic abilities are alright. And Lacerator is very nice when bleed starts going. But there's just not enough support characters for her at the moment. So I would say she drops down a tier. Glenn, he's got an okay leader. 25% HP or 20% HP, and everyone else gets 65% crit. Not bad, not great. Control character. On his mythic abilities, he has some good shit. So whenever he crits, he gives someone 20% AP. Obviously, yellows have access to the crit expert, where every hit can be a critical. So that's really useful. Definitely some combos to be played around with there. I reckon he's solid overall. Solid B tier. Gator with aggro, he's amazing. His mythic abilities is really good for making him survive longer. His active skill, nothing crazy, but it does help. And his rush is solid. It's confused, and when confused, people are going to be hitting each other, so it's really good. And then Alpha, whenever she does a crit, she gives them crosshairs. So when they die, they get decapped. She does a lot of damage. Her mythic abilities is pretty solid, and her active skills to give infection is pretty good. I definitely all rate these B tiers. With the exception of Gator, I might even put him up into A. Okay, A tier. Now Connor is just so fucking good. His mythic abilities are solid. You can get up to I think 40% chance of taunt someone when they attack him. There's also one where whenever he takes damage, he'll gain 20% bonus HP, which just makes him just so much harder to kill. Now he is a berserker as well, so even on attack or defense, he's going to be gaining a lot of attack to kill. Also, that turn 2 taunt is just amazing. Now, we will go into his drawbacks later on with Negan, but honestly, he's just such a solid tune. He can use on attack or defense. Really good tune. Now, Waylon, best disarm in the game. He's a green. He can hold a strong attacks weapon. 10% attack for every green on the team. Now, his mythic abilities do complement him. There is one where weapon effects are more likely to activate in his hands, meaning stun, healing stun, more likely to activate, which is great. Overall, he's just a really solid toon. Plus, on his rush, he gives 20% AP to people. It's just a great character. Now, Negan, you're immune to confuse and taunt on his rush for 2 turns. That's amazing. He's also green as well. His mythic abilities are solid as well. Best leader in the game for attack, no doubt about it. Now Sandy is a killing machine. You've seen what I can do with her with a splash damage gun. She's great. Her active skill is amazing. Her rush, fantastic. All of her mythic abilities complement her. She's just a really solid character overall. A great killing machine. Governor, really solid on defense. He has crosshair resist. He has critical hit resistance. He also has whenever he dies a 30% chance to get rid of all status effects on him. And obviously, whenever he dies, that Outlast ability, he gives 60% maim to 2 people or 3 people. It's just such a grim ability. We all know he can kill 2 people very easily, making him such a good defensive toon. Now, Princess, I don't think I have to say how good Princess is. 4 attacks are random, doesn't matter. As long as you got 20% rampage, holy, she's going to be hitting so hard. And she can pretty much wipe a team just on that rush. So she is just fantastic. All of these toons deserve to be in the A tier, no doubt in my mind. Just absolutely top tier characters that can really just be so good either in killing, control, or just have that little something that just makes the team just work. And these characters are just it. Now the next part, Andrea with the rampage, her mythic abilities, holy. Like, so first of all, follow up, it's great whenever you kill someone you get to go again. And with her mythic abilities, every single one of her mythic abilities complements her and helps her get so much damage down on the field. She's great. Plus, that 800% damage, whoever you're hitting, more than likely is going to be dead. If not, they're going to be on such low HP. She's just a really solid character overall. Now, Tyrese, as you can see by the poll, no one even is, arguing it. He's just an A tier character. He's just so good. So, pretty much, he does 400% damage to adjacent enemies, and he's got Manic. So Manic is so good with this character. So whenever he uses his active skill, he reduces his HP, meaning for his turn 2 he will have his rush just naturally, and 400% damage down the middle. It does so much damage, especially to blues, yellows, whatever it might be. He just does so much damage. It's unbelievable. Plus his mythic abilities are good. 2 of them are kind of useless, but 2 of them are phenomenal. Overall, he's just a killing machine. There's no doubt about it. He's just a solid character. Now, Ezekiel barely made it into the top tier, but I do believe he belongs here. On the pure basis, he's got a really solid leader skill. So everyone gets 25% defense. That's great already. And defense down resist. So you can't get any cheesy kills with Jeremiah and then Tyrese nuking. Also, the mythic abilities are really good, giving minus 15% attack to the attacking team. That really does help your team survive longer. Plus, he's a yellow, fast healing, constantly going to be topped up. And with that 15% attack, suffering, it's just going to be solid. It's going to be solid. You're not going to be able to do enough damage, and you're just going to constantly be topped up. And also, there's so much good tunes you can put behind them. Like Dr. Stevens, for example. Dr. Stevens also... okay, I'm just going to say this. His Halo ability is absolute bollocks. I'm not a fan of it, because if him and Governor are still last alive, and Governor is in his Outlast state, he will still revive with his Halo, which is utter shit. Mythic abilities are solid. His rush is solid with healing and reviving. I'm going to say he's just a cheesy character overall. Yeah, he's just bollocks, really. So, yeah, he does deserve to be an A. Now, Mirabelle is a bit of an interesting one. She has Guardian 2, so whenever she crits, she gives 2 shields. Her active skill is actually really good at confusing someone, and if it more than likely, it's going on the Sandy. And if you got Sandy with splash damage, she's killing the team. She's also got a really nice little really nice rush. A lot of potential for her being on attack and defense. And her mythic abilities are actually pretty good as well. So, solid characters. Every single one on the A tier are solid. They can be used on attack and defense. Well, not all on attack, but they're very good at their job. They do that little extra something that just helps the team out more than someone in the B tier, for example. They just have that little extra something to help push that team a little bit further. So that's where I'm going to leave it at. Honestly, I've said my opinions, whether I change them or not. Now, this isn't as in depth as I would like it to be, but the video would just take too long at that point. Leave your comments if you agree where the community voted on this. If there's anything you'd change around, if there's anything you think I did wrong or correct with my ratings, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, and yeah, Discord link in the description. Leave a like, comment, and yeah, peace.